Hello children, how are you? I hope you all are keeping very well and studying also. You all are welcome to the biology class. Let's continue with the topic cell. But before I start today's topic, I will just recap the things that we have done in the previous class. What we have done in the previous class was we have started with the cell membrane. We have discussed the components of cell membrane. We have discussed the function of the cell membrane. We have done the transport system done by the cell membrane, active and passive. Then we have done how a cell gets affected when it is kept in hypertonic, hypotonic and isotonic solution. Okay, and then we have just started with the cell wall. What is cell wall? What is it made up of? Where it is found? Let's continue with the cell wall. Okay. Now, coming to the role of the cell wall. But before that, you should remember the cell wall is present in which type of cells? Plant, fungus and bacteria. Okay, and they are made up of cellulose in plants. They are made up of chitin in the fungus. They are made up of peptidoglycan in the bacteria. Okay, you may get some other names also, pectin, hemicellulose. These all are the compositions of which a cell wall is made up of. Okay, what is the role of cell wall? The cell wall provides shape to the cell because it is little rigid in the nature, so it gives shape to the cell. Not only the shape, it also provides mechanical strength to the plants. Mechanical strength means it gives extra strength, like if any, like you have seen that the parts of the plant are little stronger. They don't get affected when you push, also when it moves in the wind, also when it falls also it doesn't get affected. It gives mechanical strength to the plants. Third one, it protects against pathogen and mechanical injury. Since it is little rigid, it does not allow the entry of any disease causing pathogen easily, and it prevents it from mechanical injury. You have seen that even if we give a whack on the pear leaves, it does not get affected. The cell does not get damaged. Why? Because it's the cell wall. Next, fourth one, it shows that the growth of the cell wall shows the growth of the cell. As I have discussed in the previous class, the cell wall the cell wall develops another layer after its plasmodesmata, after its maturation. Cell wall prevents bursting of the cell on endoosmosis. Just remember in your mind, children, what is endoosmosis? Endoosmosis is the process in which when the cell is kept in the hypotonic solution. Hypotonic, that means more water, less solute. And inside the cell, the concentration of water is less, and outside the cell, the concentration of water is more. In that case, what will happen? The entry of the water molecules will be inert to the inside of the cell. This is called as endosmosis. What happens? When the water moves from outside to inside, what happens? The cell becomes turgid, it becomes swollen. Okay, like I'll give you an example. You have seen that when your mother put raisins, kishmish in the kheer or any liquid sweet dish, after some time it swells up and becomes like a small balloons. Why? Osmosis takes place. Because you can do it at home also. Soak a few raisins in water and leave it for few hours. You will see that the shrunk raisins will become a soft balloon type of structure. Why? Because inside the raisin the concentration of water was less. That means inside the solution was hypertonic and outside the raisin it is hypotonic. So the movement was endoosmosis process. Okay, so what happened? The cell got swollen. Now even it got swollen, it does not burst out. Why? Because the cell wall gives it strength, and the pressure which was pushing the water pressure was constantly pushing or you can applying a force on the cell wall, but it was not able to burst the cell wall. That is what one of the most important function of the cell wall. Next is ability to withstand a lot of variation in nature. Different natural changes takes place around, but the cell, because of the rigid cell wall, the plant doesn't get affected. Fungus cell does not get affected. Now, to brief the difference between the plasma membrane and the cell wall is, it occurs in plant cell, fungus, bacteria. It occurs in plant and animal cell both. All the cells which are having plant cell wall will also have the cell membrane. It lies on the outside of the cell. That means the outermost layer of the cell of the plant cell or fungus will be a cell wall. But in case of animal cell, the the outermost membrane will be the plasma membrane. It is rigid and thick. It is flexible and thin. It is permeable. That means it allows, but it is selective permeable. Formed of cellulose, hemicellulose, pectin, you can add chitin also, you can add peptidoglycan also, but it is made up of lipids and proteins and small numbers of carbohydrates. It provides protection and strength to the cell, but in this case, it holds the cellular content, like this plasma membrane. Inside the plasma membrane, all the cellular components, all the cell organelles, the cytoplasm is closely intact inside the cell, and it also allows the passage of movement of the things from outside to inside, from inside to outside. Okay, next one, we have gone to the nucleus. But before I go to the nucleus, I would like to tell you one more thing of the related to the cell wall is the plasmolysis. Plasmolysis is a topic or is a term which is associated to the plant cell, how and what it is. Now, as I have said that the plant cell, when it is kept in a hypertonic solution, it becomes turgid or swollen. Okay, but when it is kept in a hypertonic solution, that means the inner concentration of water is more in the cell, but as compared to the outside environment. So what happens? There will be exoosmosis. Exoosmosis means the water molecules will move from inside to outside. In that case, what happens generally in the cell? The cell shrinks. Okay, so cell shrinks. Now a perfect example is, you have seen that the raisins are made up of grapes. The grapes are dried. So what happened? The movement of water molecules from the raisins goes out, evaporates and goes out and becomes raisins. Okay, so what happens generally, due to the presence of the cell wall, the total cell does not shrink very easily. Only the inner portion of the cell, you will see that it has shrunk. Till now, in the lower classes, you have studied that in the plant cell, there is only one central big vacuole. Vacuole is there, only one vacuole is there, which is bigger in size and which is centrally located. So, when the plant cell is kept in the hypertonic solution, the water molecules move out of the cell. In that case, there is a scarcity of water, but there is a cell wall also which is very rigid. So only the vacuole portion gets shrink and gets away from the plasma membrane. The movement of the vacuole is done little away from the plasma membrane. This is called as plasmolysis. In your textbook, there is an activity given for this plasmolysis also. You read it carefully. We have to take the Rio leaf. There is a leaf which is little reddish green in color. Okay, that is called as Rio leaf. You just search in the Google and you will get the exact picture of the Rio leaf. What we have to do, we have to keep the Rio leaf in the sugar or salt solution for few hours, and then we have to take the little slice of it, and you have to see it under the microscope. We will see that there is some shrinkage in the cell structure will be shown. This is called as plasmolysis. lysis. Okay. Now, last class I have told you an activity of osmosis, that is osmometer. Why don't you all try this activity at home? We have this practical also in class 9th. So better you do it at home. Try it out. What you have to take a bigger size potato. Okay, all of you peel it and then cut that potato into half. Now you will get a semi-circle type, or you can say semi-oval. What will you do? You will make a groove inside, make a hole, but there will be a surrounding potato. Okay, now make a groove inside, but it should not touch the bottom. There should be a well type of structure you will make, and fill that well with a sugar solution. Okay, now the potato is having a groove like this. It's having a groove like this. So what will you do? You will, a groove like this is there. So what will you do? Fill it with the sugar solution, and now you will keep that potato straight. If it is not stable, cut a little slice from the bottom so that the bottom become flat. Now keep it in a small plate filled with water. And one more thing that you have to do, till where you have filled, don't fill the entire groove with the sugar solution. Little half portion of the groove you fill it with the sugar solution. Mark with the pin, awl pin. Mark the level of the sugar solution with the pin, and then you will see after 2-3 hours whether the sugar solution level has increased or not. If it is increased, that shows what? Endo-osmosis. Okay, try it out. Now we get to the second important part of the cell, that is the nucleus. One, we have done the membrane, outer membrane. Now second one is the nucleus. What is this nucleus called? The nucleus is the brain of the cell because it controls number of activities in the cell. Okay, as well as the cell nucleus is very much needed when the cell has to multiply. Okay, now what is nucleus? A dense protoplasmic body that contains hereditary information controlling cell activities as well as the transfer to the next generation. Now, if you see that if this is a nucleus, it is a dense area. Okay, inside this also there is a cytoplasm present, which is called as nucleoplasm. And what is its role? What is all contained? It contains the hereditary information. Hereditary information means it contains genes. How does it contain genes? Because it has chromatin fibers, and you can see that euchromatin, heterochromatin, these are the types of the chromatin fibers. We will do in detail. Okay, euchromatin is the active part of the chromatin because when the cell has to divide, this euchromatin becomes thinner and it leads to the formation of chromosomes. Heterochromatin is the inactive form of the chromatin. It is little thicker and denser. Okay, there is a nuclear pore which allows the movement of the things from the outer surroundings of the nucleus to inside and inside to outside. Okay, this is the nuclear envelope. This is a membrane. This is called as nuclear membrane, and the fluid which is filled inside it, this is called as nucleoplasm. Inside the nucleus, in the central location, there is a dense round structure that is called as nucleolus. The nucleolus contains RNA and protein. Okay, these are the Fimbriae type of structures, and or you can say that from the nuclear membrane, the finger-like projections are formed. They forms the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, what are they formed? Endoplasmic reticulum. This will come later. And the endoplasmic reticulum is also having there are also found in the two types. One is called as smooth endoplasmic reticulum and the other one is called as rough endoplasmic reticulum. The rough one is why? Because on the edge of the endoplasmic reticulum, if the ribosomes are studded, they forms rough endoplasmic reticulum. If there is no ribosomes studded, it is called as smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and both have some different functions also. We will study it later. Now, do you have understood that it is the dense protoplasmic body which contains hereditary information in the form of DNA. Chromatin fibers are present at the time of cell division. They condense and they form chromosomes. Chromosomes are carrying DNA, and the part of the DNA which has the genetic features, they are called as genes. And it also controls the cell activities, different activities of the cell, as well as the transfer of genes from one generation to another generation is also controlled by the nucleus. Where is its location? The centrally located. Inside the cell, in the central location of the cell, it is present. In mature plant cell, it lies in towards the periphery. In the plant cell, which is already matured, it is found in the corner, or you can say that near the cell membrane it is found. In prokaryotes I have already said in the previous class, prokaryotes means the kind of a cells which are primitive, in which the nucleus formation is not complete. They are called as prokaryotes. So when we are discussing about the nucleus, it has to be done here, because in prokaryotes the nucleus is present like a dense cloud. It is not perfectly defined nucleus. There will be no nuclear membrane. There will be no nucleolus. Very clear. So nuclear membrane will be absent, and such cloudy area in the prokaryotes it called as nucleoid. What it is called? Nucleoid. Some of the cells, the red blood cells, our mammalian red blood cells, when it is immature, that time it possesses a nucleus. But when the RBC matures and it is produced from the bone marrow and comes to the cell in the blood, it becomes without nucleus. Then sieve elements you remember in the phloem. The sieve tubes also lack nucleus. Cells without nucleus cannot survive for a long time. So that is why the life cycle, or you can say that the lifespan of the RBC is not much. If it is one nucleus is present in the cell, generally it is one nucleus. We call it as uninucleate. And if in some cells there is more than one nucleus, it is called as multinucleate. Okay. I have discussed what are the different parts of the nucleus. Well, there are double membrane. It is called as nuclear membrane. And on the membrane, there are some pores area. This is one pore area. This is another pore area. This is called as nuclear pore. Then we have centrally part of the nucleus is called as nucleolus, which is carrying the RNA. And RNA is also a kind of a genetic material. We have two types of genetic material. One is DNA, other one is RNA. DNA is deoxyribose nucleic acid and RNA is ribose nucleic acid. Okay, and proteins are also present. Now, what is nucleus made up of? As I have discussed, these three important parts are present in the nucleus. One is the nuclear membrane, other one is nucleoplasm, third one is nucleolus. What is nuclear membrane? It's the outer covering of the nucleus. Nuclear envelope is the double membrane covering which separates the nucleus from the cytoplasm. It contains many nuclear pores. That means small pores are present. From the outer membrane of the nuclear envelope, the endoplasmic reticulums are attached. Second one is nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm is what? It is a colorless, dense sap found inside the nucleus in which the chromatin and nucleolus is suspended. This is the nucleolus, and this part is the nucleoplasm in which the chromatin fibers and the nucleolus is swimming. What are the nuclear pores? The kind of a pore which allows the exchange of materials between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Any kind of exchange which has to be done from the cytoplasm of the cell to the nucleoplasm and from the nucleoplasm to the cytoplasm is called as nuclear pore. Now nucleolus. Nucleolus is the round structure found inside the nucleus, which is rich in RNA and protein. Now, RNA is a kind of a genetic material which is the site of the ribosomes formation. Ribosomes forms because of the RNA. Protein is needed for the ribosomes. In the ribosomes only the protein formation takes place. So to form the ribosomes, the site of the ribosome formation is where? In the nucleolus. There is one structure of the nucleus I have just given is this. This is the outer membrane, you can see that, and these are the nuclear pores. You can see that this one, this one, this one, this one, these are the nuclear pore, and this is the nucleolus. Okay, now this is the inner membrane. Now you can see that there is white thread like structures. These are what? These are the chromatin fibers. Okay, and this is called, and you can see that from the outer part of the outer membrane of the nuclear membrane, this one, the endoplasmic reticulum started forming. Okay, this is the nuclear pore. These are called as inside the cell. This is something very deep into. I'm not discussing this right now. You just understand the membrane, nucleolus, and the endoplasmic reticulum, chromatin fibers, RNA, DNA. This much only you need to discuss. I have just given, you can see. Now, I just want to tell you the difference between the cell wall and the nuclear membrane. This is plasma membrane, nuclear membrane. The cell wall contains the nucleus. That means the outer cell membrane contains the nucleus, but the nuclear membrane contains the nucleolus. It represents the whole eukaryotic cell with the genetic material. It is a part of the nucleus, okay, and it is without a covering of a membrane. It is covered with two membrane. There is no covering like that, okay. It controls the structure and the working of the cell. It helps in the ribosomes formation. Now, what is chromatin material? It is given to you. Just have a look. It is a kind of a dense mass of thread-like structure made up of DNA and protein. Okay, what is chromatin material? It's a thread-like structure. When you mix up so many threads, entangle so many threads, it looks like that. So during the cell division, the chromatin becomes highly condensed. Okay, at the time when the cell has to reproduce or it has to divide, that time these chromatin fibers condense. They become thicker and they become like rod-shaped structures. And that rod-shaped structure is known as chromosomes. Okay, how the chromosomes divide, okay, and something more in the nucleus that we have to study, that I will do in the next class. Till here, you just revise once again by watching the slides and do that 2 activity which I have just said. Okay, thank you children.